going to speak about the data management plan. Our learning objectives today, we're going to look and identify the rationale for the creation of a robust DMP. And our data management plan is really the important documentation of how we're going to run our data management processes in relation to our clinical trial. I'll describe the documentation required for a DMP when we use either paper or electronic data capture applications, because there are more things, let's say, in an EDC application that are specific to an EDC format. And let me ask this question here, and maybe it might differ among the folks that are sitting in the class today, but are you dealing more with studies that are collecting data on paper case report forms? If you are, give me a green check. If you're utilizing EDC, give me a red X. And while I'm waiting for that response to come through, and let's put it this way, if you're doing both, okay, red X, so that means EDC. So the information that I will be, now we got a green check, so that's paper. All right. So looking at, I'm making the contrast between the two because there are still some folks in the industry, pharmaceutical industry, that may be using paper as well. But I'll also talk about the components of your data management plan as defined by the Society for Good Clinical Data Management Practices. And hopefully someone within might be a member of the Society for Clinical Data Management. However, you don't have to be a member now in order to be able to get access to this document. We'll alert you, though, to the fact that there are many chapters ongoing revision and updating, as if you choose to get the current issue that's out there, be aware in another 6 months or so you might want to get the newer version. And the Good Clinical Data Management Practices document has been recognized by the FDA as really a paramount foundation for good practices within the data management discipline. And then we'll look at applying standards for creating, approving, and maintaining data management plans. So these are the objectives for today. So what is the definition of a DMP? Well, by definition, the well-designed data management plan will provide that detailed description on how we're handling the data under unforeseen circumstances or any foreseeable circumstances. Although there are times when we think that, we'll never see something like this happen, lo and behold, inevitably it does. So we're going to look at be proactive and identify our activities and how we are going to handle those activities. And it really will establish the processes for how to deal with unplanned issues, as we know that they always do have a tendency for manifesting themselves. So from the standpoint of what our deliverable is and what the remit is for data managers, our deliverable is really the database, a clean database, and basically that data that really represents what happened during the clinical trial, and that it's ready for the analyses based on hypotheses of the protocol and the statistical analyses plan. So when we have that data management created and approved, basically anyone that joins that team at any point in time, having that data management plan and your protocol available really gives you a pretty decent idea on how you are managing the data for that particular study. It is an auditable document, which means that if an auditor is scheduled to come and review the data for a specific study, that if you have issues identified in your DMP, that you abide by those issues, and that way they can check to ensure that whatever you've done for your data as far as data handling is concerned has been documented appropriately. So the purpose of a DMP is that it will document processes and procedures. So we have that there so that everyone knows, when we're going to issue a query, what the standard for collecting adverse events will be. It will promote consistent, efficient, and effective data management processes. And again, we should have standard operating procedures that are, let's say, the high level governance of your discipline. But your data management plan is specific for a study, and it will really address the issues that are indigenous to your study. And you need then, if you have a study team, and all of the stakeholders that will really be involved in data collection, looking at the database, biostatistics, they will have this information ready for creating this database and also being aware of the parameters that you're setting on your data handling. It will document DM practices and decisions pertaining to the study, must comply to regulatory guidelines and SOPs, and must address any procedural or protocol updates. So as we all know, many times we will receive a protocol and we will design case report forms, we will design a database and have a data management plan. And lo and behold, either after the FDA may have reviewed the protocol, they may have recommendations for change. We also may have protocol amendments. And those protocol amendments will govern then the amendments of our document, so that if, for example, we add an inclusion-exclusion criteria, well, we'll have to update a case report form, we'll have to update the case report form completion guidelines, and we'll have to update our data management plan as well.